Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So guys, what is replication controller? So simple, it's one of the resources, API resources of Kubernetes. Everything is all about the API resources which we are learning today, and I think it's the last day, I guess, right? Yeah. So all are API resources. So what we can get from this? What we can get this? So guys, you know that my habit is to break the keyword here. So here replication controller I will break to 2. Remember, while discussion about the pod, I said pod can be replicated. Pod can be replicated. So here replicate one pod too many. If you want this functionality, one pod too many, then you want the replication controller. Yeah, one of the replication feature you have. See, remember last sessions, yesterday we learned about kind is equal to pod. See here, if you forgot, see here, kind is equal to pod. So using this here, kind is equal to pod. So how many pod you get it using this method? Only one pod you get it. But if you want too many pods, then how do you get it? Will you be able to run this one the loop? No. Remember, this is a declarative languages. Here there's no iterations and stuff like that you can find in the YAML. Okay, so for iterations you have to use something else. If you want to iterate multiple pod you want, then you have to use this resources. This can help you to replicate as many you wanted. Okay, so here replication controller has one of the feature, sorry, excuse me. So a replication controller is having one of the feature which can replicate one to many. Many means you can imagine how many. If you have infrastructure, it can be 1,000 containers also, sorry, pod also. Or if you have a limited infrastructure, 4, 5, 10, 20 also. Up to your requirement, up to your infrastructure. So now here, what controller is doing here? So guys, controller, anyone remember that what is the job of the controller? What is the job of controller? Anyone remember?
Observe and see if everything is running.
Yeah, so it keep controlling something. Controlling means, let's say here you set replication, I need 5 pod. So what will happen? This controller will keep checking, is it a 5 pod of the same specification? Is it a 5 pod for the same specification? Is it a 5 pod for the same specification, or 4 pod or some specification manually someone changed it manually? So in that case also, whatever the desire you had it of what kind of pod and how many pod, that will be monitored, that will be controlled by always by the controller. This runs in the loop, and the moment this controller do not find do find some mismatch of your desire, which is here, if the pod someone has modified the the kind of pod, or I mean the specification of pod someone has modified manually, or someone has a what do you say, someone has made the 5 to 4 or 5 to 50. So what this controller will do, this controller will send the signal to, send the information to
API server.
API server. Now, yeah, remember that architect. That's the reason I said you have to understand those in detail. So controller will send that information to API server. Now API server will check my controller is sending this information. Is it stored with me? So API server will see no, there's a mismatch here. So let's do one thing. Let's ask a scheduler to do the corrections and all. Okay. So that is a job of the controller. And here in master we have a controller manager, like that we have a many controllers, you may have it. Okay, so controller make sure desire must match with actual. Okay, so this is called a replication controller. Okay, so now can I go ahead and show you the demo of this? So look at my screen. So can I create a controller? Remember the same operations you have to do that. CRUD. I'm not repeating more, but same thing you have to do. Always remember this CRUD rule. This for any resources of API, not in fact Kubernetes API. Any places you go, these are the behaviors you see for the API. Any functionality which is based on the API. So can I learn myself only? So create -f kubectl. Oh, sorry, -h. So here, can I create replication controller? So guys, if I see here, I can't find the replication controller options here. So that is also not there. So what we do in this case? So in that case, we'll go for YAML. Now the question is why this replication controller is not there in that. Let me tell you, replication controller got deprecated for the favoring, for the doing the favor for some other resources. Now which resources? Deployment. So now I will talk about it. What is a difference between replication controller and deployment? But this got deprecated. I'm not saying it's removed. It got deprecated. In the future, it will be removed actually. Okay. So now I am going to show you. I'm going to show you the replication controller. One sample programs I needed. So look at my screen here. This is the sample program. I got it. Now look at this here. Very easy to understand though. See here, kind is equal to replication controller. This which version of API which you are using? V1. Name hello RC. How many replications you want? 2 pod. Replicas 2 means 2 pod. But you want the 2 pod. But where is the template on which that you want that 2 pod? So template has specification. This is the pod specification. This is the image. This is the image, and it's the same image, guys. Nginx. I just modify a little bit of it. Okay, so this is the one image which will come from the hub.docker.com and container port and all stuff like that. Simple. So now this I am going to. So here I'll go to Rajesh directory, and here rc.yaml. Remember, I have a namespace, my namespace, which is Rajesh. So this is mine. This is mine. So I will work with my namespace. So before that, I will see that if I have anything, I have one container running. What I will do, just to have a clear demo, I will delete this pod actually. Okay, so now I clean this pod. Now I'm going to run this replication controller. So let me show you here. Okay, so now here I am having only replicas 2, remember. Okay, so kubectl apply -f rc.yaml -n is equal to Rajesh. And now here you see you got the two container created. Now whenever two container will be created, they will add some random number just to make the container name unique, so avoid the duplications, because you know that name is not allowed in the same namespace, right? So it's like this. So now working with the pod, you know that, but now I will not touch base that topic. Pod describe, pod logs, attach, port forwarding, all this thing, you know that. So I'm not going to talk about it, but what I'm going to talk about is working with the uh, replication controller. So here, how can you list out the replication controller? You see how many desire you had, how many current you have, how many ready you have, all these things. Can I describe this? Describe RC, which RC? Hello RC -n is equal to Rajesh. And you see here, this is the RC created in this, and you see here replicas current 2 and desired 2. And you see the status, all these things, please look at it. And this is the pod template for this replication controller. Okay, now if you see here, one important thing here, this is event, this is a kubelet event, which is from the replication controller. So this this pod is being managed by replication controller. You want me to show you? See here, I'll create one more pod, but this time only pod only. So kubectl apply -f pod.yaml. Oops, sorry, -n Rajesh, because so kubectl get pods -n Rajesh. So here I have this pod. Now I want to describe this pod. This kubectl describe pod name -n is equal to Rajesh. Now you see here, this pod is not controlled by, you see here, no any as such field is there which is such controlled by. See here, no controlling. This pod is independent. There's no control for this pod. But if I show you this pod, which I'll change this, if I show you this pod, and you see here, go up, see here. So this pod is controlled by controller. Okay, so that means controller is monitoring this pod, controlled by replication controller RC. So this is how it works. So now this is the way you can create a RC. Now what you want? So do you want replications? Let me show you. So replicate one to many. So right now I have a 2. I created 2. Now let's say I want 5. Okay. Don't go for the more number. So there's a two-way you can do that. You can modify the YAML file, or directly you can modify the etcd edit command. So right now I'm modifying edit RC, and name of the RC hello -n is equal to Rajesh. And you see here, now see I'm modifying replicas 2 to 3. I want 3 pod. See here, now you got the 3 pod. It can be 3000 also if I can make it, but we don't have resources, right? Got it. Now I will do same thing through YAML file. I want the 5 replicas of this, replicas 5, and save it. So here what you should do, apply, you know all this command very well, RC -n Rajesh. So 3 earlier we had, now we got a 5. Okay, so all together this is the way replication works. So one of the feature which I have shown you so far. So now you look at this guys, that the ages, this is 8 second, 8 second, first time it got created, and after that all this thing got created over the period of time. Okay, So now this is a replication feature. You can replicate one pod to many, as many you want. But I'll teach you now controller feature. Controller means make sure the desire must match with actual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some of the pod. So look at this pod. These two pod
So,
by I'm deleting with the intention right now, but the deletions can be accidentally also. For example, node got offline, or network got offline, or hardware got issues or something. It can be any issue, software hardware issue. So it got offline. So the number of pod should be running at a time that'll be make sure by replication controller. So now what I'm manually I'm deleting it because that's I want to show you the magic. Delete RC, delete not RC, delete pod. If you delete RC, RC will get deleted. So I'm deleting this pod and then this pod, and -n is equal to Rajesh. And you see here, the pod, see the output, the command line output you're getting little late, but you know what has happened? Pod got created much early. You see here, this is the pod and this is the pod, 15 seconds. Got created, replaced, but it did not get a little bit faster, but it got created. See that? So by accident also what happens, let's say you say set 100, and because of some incident it'll become a 20 less 80. So replication controller will correct itself because of this. Immediately replication controller will send API server, and you know what rest of the things will happen. So guys, this is the way replication controller works. Now again, if you want more information about here, so I would request you -h option, never forget. See here, you can get more options. See here, these are the options which I am showing you. This will be active, this will be active for every command section. So you just see the selector, so kind, read it one by one. We will understand many of these things, but not everything. So guys, any questions so far?
yeah,
Any
so
question?
one question on the replication.
Yeah, tell me.
So while we can add how many pods we want to replicate, but what's the governance model around it? Is it like depends on our requirement, or how we decide that how many pods we want, or it's all driven by the use case and requirement?
There's no as such straightforward answers for it. It's a completely conditional questions. What happens? This is all about the capacity planning, which your team will do. Now, let's say, in a simple way, you know the performance testing you do through JMeter, load runner, and all. So let's say you say, I have 1,000 people who will be coming daily on this website. This is your estimate, 1,000 estimate. Okay. Now, 1 month, first month. Now you say you set a guideline saying that, okay, my response time should be, response time means to open up a website for the end user. Let's say response time to be 2 seconds. Okay. So this is your standard, this is your benchmark, this is your expectations. So now based on that, you will do the performance testing on your applications. So you will tell, okay, the QA team or someone will tell, okay, for the meeting up this benchmark, I need to run 500 pods all the time. Okay. So this is become your benchmark. Now over the period of time, let's say your number of users are going up, but you don't want to make this up also. You want to make it remain 2 seconds. So again, you will get one kind of benchmark. So the moment the traffic is going up, then from 500 to make it 600, 600 to make it 700. So these are the gradual process. the question is, can it be done manually? Of course you have to do manually. Can it be done through Kubernetes? Yes, you can also do through Kubernetes. These are the rule you can set in auto scaling. Auto scaling in Kubernetes functionality. There's one resources for it. Auto scale. It can auto scale out. It can go up. It can. I mean, number of pods can go up automatically based upon the uses, and number of pod can go down based upon the uses of CPU, RAM, and all stuff like that. Are you getting my points?
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is a conditional questions. Just check with it. By the way, the question was how Kubernetes will help you. So I don't know. So I asked kubectl, do you have anything as such? Kubectl gave me so many things, and here it is. Okay, auto scale. So auto scale, you can use the deployment, which I'm going to talk about next one. Replica set, I'll talk about next one. Replication controller, the one which I talked about now. For the this to work, some monitoring enable, you have to enable that. So those are the things. Okay, so guys, so what I did is I got scaling done through the manual way. Okay, sorry. I get the scaling done through manual way. But when you want to do that through CI/CD, then how you do that? You are not going to modify the files or edit mode or something. So how can you do that? So guys, there is one command which will work for many things, and that command is scale. Okay, you don't, if you have not don't know, just please read this, read one more time all this. See here. So this command will help you to set through CI mode. So here set a new size for deployment, replica set, and replication controller as well. So this command will work for everything. So here what I'm going to do, scale -h, and now here you get so many examples. Okay, so how many replica set you want for this? So I want the replica set of, I have a 5, but I want to make it 3 through CI/CD process. So this is the command you can run, and it will work for you. Sorry, RC, there's a spelling mistake. Okay, and you see 3. Earlier we had a 5, now I got a 3. Remaining pod got deleted, terminated, and stuff like that. You see, it's gone. Okay, so guys, this is a replication controller. I hope you have understood this. Any questions?
Rajesh, there's also this thing, difference between the two.
Which one?
The replica set and the replication controller.
Yeah, I'll explain you in the second next session, deployment.
Okay.
Okay guys, so this is all about the replication controller.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so guys, here now I'm going to talk about yeah. So guys, now I'm going to talk about next API resources, which is called deployment. So now guys, what is a deployment? So guys, deployment has multiple feature, which is superseding with the replication controller, superseding to the replication controller. Deployment has a one feature which is called replication, and deployment has one of the another feature which is called controller. So now you must be thinking like, is it a replication controller, a copy of the same replication controller? I would say it's a yes or no also, because this replication controller feature is coming from the replica set. Okay, replica sets. Now the question is, what is a replica set? So this we call it replica sets. Okay, this has a feature replication and controller. So this we call it replica set. But the question is, what is a replica set? So replica set is basically V2 version 2 of RC only. Yeah. RS and RC, there is no different. What is the difference? Whatever the bug fixing has happened in the replication controller, they made it in a replica set. So rather than releasing the V2 for the RC2, because they were not planning for the V2 version so far at the time, so they said that let's create a one new one. We named it with replica sets, and this I'll make it a V1. So here deployment has replication plus controller, but through what? Replica sets. Is something similar to RC. So guys, did you understand this combination? Guys, hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now guys, it has additional feature also. Deployment has additional feature also. Deployment has a versioning feature. Yeah, you can do the versioning. Okay, you can do the roll out the new version without a single second of downtime, without single second of downtime. You can also roll back also. Okay, so you can do the rollout, you can do the rollback, everything without a single. So these are the features which we have in the deployment. So now whenever we work with a pod in a Kubernetes nowadays, from last 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is, and this is the only one API resources we need to use to get all this functionality. Okay, so this is called deployment. This has a RS also, versioning capability also, rollout capabilities also, rollback capabilities also. But now I need to know how can we work with it. How can we work with it? So guys, let's go and create a deployment now. So this is the console. Now kubectl create -h. I will check, can I create a deployment? So guys, here if I see, yes, I can create a deployment through the command line. So let's do one thing. Why can't we create a through command line? Though you can create from YAML also, but creating a from command line will be much more easier for me. Here, look at this. So how can you create a deployment? There's a examples here. So guys, here this is the command which I am using right now to create a deployment. Now this time I will use my image actually for this. Okay, so this is my image. Okay, kubectl create deployment. This is my image, and this should be here. This is my image, and my deployment is a name. Which namespace? Rajesh namespace. So guys, this will create an deployment. So let's create. Can we see that? kubectl get deploy -n is equal to Rajesh. See, his deployment is there. Can we have a RC? Can we delete the RC, because I just want to clean it up. Delete RC and which RC? Hello RC -n is equal to Rajesh. So I deleted RC just to clean up. And finally, this is how many pod you have? 1. So what to do now? Nothing. I think you know the command. You can scale it up. Edit also you can do that. You can also edit. Okay, and you can also scale it up. So here what you want. So here you have to write deploy, name of the deploy, what you want, 1 to 3 you want. That's all. And you see here, got 3. So you got the 3 deployment. You can see here 3 deployment. So now if you see here, get pods -n Rajesh. See, these are the 3 pod which you see the downside is coming from the same deployment. You see this first got created here, and then now you got created here. Look at the age. Okay, now if I
To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Describe the pod which is created by deployment. It's a very interesting thing. Look at it. kubectl describe pod. Which pod? -n is equal to Rajesh. If I describe the pod here, if I see controlled by not replication controller, but controlled by replica set. What is the name of the replica set? MyDep. So can we do one thing? Can we check this replica set? So deployment, when you do that, it create a replica set by default. You can create separately also, but see here. This is the replica set. How many? Desire, current, ready. It's a extension next version of RC only. Okay, you want to describe this? kubectl describe RC replica set RS. Okay, -m Rajesh. See here, replicas. Now this is, see here. So pod is controlled by replica set and replica set is controlled by deployment. So this is how the relationship, you can check it out. Okay. And
Rajesh, is it
current.
like one deployment can contain multiple replica sets? Is that how it is?
One deployment can contain multiple replica set. Typically, I have seen so far one deployment create by default one replica set, but the scenario is like this. Why do we need a multiple replica set? The reason for it, why do we need it? Because you, through the deployment, you deploy only one pod, right? You don't deploy 2-3 different pod. So that one replica set itself can replicate n number of pod. So what is the huge case of two replica set? So it's not like a two replica set will have a two images or something like that. Getting opens because you set the images for the deployment, right?
So how do you use it in real life? I mean, if I'm deploying an application which has got say 50 services, which are 50 pods, I suppose, right? So is it one deployment with 50
One
pods?
deployment.
Okay.
One deployment 50 pod. One kind of. Let's say you want to deploy Nginx. It's a one deployment. Tomcat one deployment. Apache one deployment. MySQL one deployment. All these microservices will be one deployment for it. So that way, and each deployment you may have a 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 200 pods as per your needs, right?
Okay.
So this is a deployment and this is a replica set. So I just did it. By the way, guys, you can, there's some magic I'm going to show you. So here.
So one more question, Rajesh. So again, basic question between replica controller and replica set. Replica controller is version 1. Replica set is nothing but version 2. So it is mandated that replica controller has to be created first, then you can only move to replica set because of version 1 to version 2 concept. And that's one question.
No. This you misunderstood.
Yeah. So
the replication controller got deprecated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you mentioned that. Okay. Oh, there's a version 2 of
version 2 of RC only.
RC only. Okay.
So guys, now this is the thing. So now I'll show you the little bit magic. But before that, you know what I'll do? Let me show you here. Deploy -n is called Rajesh. I will do the editing from manually also, just for the you to get a confidence on it. So you can do manually edit also. Now look at my screen, guys, please. So right now replicas, how many you have? 3. I'll make it 5. And you see here, got the 5. Okay, 2 will be created. So got it. Now here you can do 1 also quickly. It will become a terminated. See here. Okay. So now these are the things you can do that. Now I'll show you this controller feature. Do we have this controller feature or not? So guys, if you look at this, I made it two pod you have. So kubectl get pods -n is equal to Rajesh. So you have a 2 pod right now. Remaining got terminated. You see here. Okay. So now what I will do, just to see that controller is working or not with the deployment, I will delete this pod also. This pod which is running, this pod and this pod. Look at the age actually, 19 second this one, and 6 minute is there. Okay, so can we do this? So let's check it out. This is still terminating. I should be cleaning it up by the now. Still terminated. Okay, let it be. So here what I'm going to do, kubectl manually I'm terminating it. Delete pod, this pod, this pod -n is equal to, remember my desire is only 2, so I deleted. It takes some time to come out of it, but it got created by now. You see here, see, look at the, it got created. So this is the way it works, the controller. Now I'm going to show you the versioning. What is a versioning? So deployment has multiple things which I would like to show you. How to know that? kubectl guys, deployment has a multiple options. So how do you see that? See here, these are the options. So you must look at it here. So you can use with the deployment, you can use a rollout also, scale also, the one which I showed you, and then auto scale also, it can be done. Now, so here rollout for what? Manage the rollout of the resources. So which resources? So let's understand this. So here kubectl rollout, my bad, kubectl rollout hyphen h, and here you see you can work with the rollout with the deployment, daemon sets and stateful set. Now the question is, what is a daemon set and stateful sets? This I will discuss little later, but let's talk about the deployment first. Okay, so you can roll out deployment. So here, clear the screen, roll out deploy -h. Now you see here what you can do with it. You can do the deployment, you can check the history. This is called versioning. Okay, you can pause the deployment, restart the deployment, resume the deployment, check the status, and roll back also. This is a rollback. Okay, so how can we do that? So first let's check out the history. So history of what? MyDep, history of rollout, history of deployment, MyDep, and namespace is Rajesh. See here. So right now only one history, only one rollback. History means in this deployment, I have deployed only one version of image, only one version of image. So that's the reason you are saying only one revision is there. So basically deployment has a ways to store the whatever the images you change over the period of time, you can store that information in the deployment. So here only one revision. Can I check this software? So kubectl get pod -n is equal to Rajesh, and see here, get the IP address, get wide. See here, these 2 pods are part of the deployment. So I'll check the which application is running. So curl, and you see here, welcome to DevOpsSchool version 1. So this is a version 1 software, version 1 image of this deployment which we have, and the history what we have, only one history. So what I'm going to do is I am going to roll out the new changes, new images. So there's a many ways you can do the patching and all, but simple way which I'm going to do right now is deploy, edit, deploy MyDep and -n is equal to, manually I'm doing this. You can do through CI/CD process also, patching and all. Here it is. So now I'm going to change the image name. Remember, welcome to DevOpsSchool.com version 1 it was there. I'll change the image to version 2. This is the This is the image I have created and pushed it to the GitHub already. Sorry, Docker Hub already. So here, enter, and then you see here, look at the site timing 5. Look at this. One is creating, terminating. Look at the remaining. First 2 were 4 minutes, 4 minutes. Now one got replaced with just now. Let's see here, both got replaced almost and got terminated. Okay, so here I deploy the new images. Actually, look at the age, 20 seconds. So can we do one thing? Can we check the IP address? Can we check the software now? It's got deployed or not? Curl HTTP. See here, this got new software now. V2. This is also got a new software now. HTTP V2. Now, can we do one thing? Can we see that whether the version you got updated or not? So again, rollout history. See here. So right now here you have a V1. Here you have a V2. This is in the production right now. So this is the way you can get the versioning here. Did you all understand this? Did you understand this?
Yeah.
So now guys, I'll talk about the rollout and rollback without a single second downtime. So for that we have to understand a little bit of thing. Before that, I would like to tell you one magic. So let's say YAML is very difficult to write sometime with all the options and all. So what I did, I created a deployment through the command line. So here if I see deploy -h Rajesh, I created a command line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all this output my dep -n Rajesh. This is the deployment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to export to YAML format like this -o YAML. So this is the one of the cheating you can do that. So here you see kubectl get deploy metadata, solve this thing, and you see all this information is YAML file. So now what you can do is this YAML file you can export to the dep1. Let's make the dep1.yaml. And now you got this dep1.yaml. See here, this is all the YAML file from the. So now what you can do with this, you can go here and delete the status, because status is a runtime environment. You don't need further static content. It's only server data. So delete all the status related things. So here it is status. I will delete one by one. So see here, all the status related things I deleted. Now this as a template you can use for the another deployment. So this has become a template. Now let's say you want to change this name of this, you have to change the deployment name. So what is the name? Here it is. No, it's a label. Here it is. So I'll just change the deployment 1 to my dep1. Change this, and now you deploy kubectl apply -f dep1.yaml -n is equal to Rajesh. So like this, if you know the command line and all stuff like that, you can get the working done without a much of the hiccups. So this is the way I save so much of time writing the all these things. So whatever the information you want to change, you can change in this way, and you can get it up and running. You see that? Okay, so I did not write any YAML file, but I got this YAML file with this little bit of effort. Now I'll teach you one more command, guys. So let's say there's so many fields which you can find it. If you see here, kubectl describe deploy. Okay, so many fields you can find it in the each resources, not only deployment, each resources. So how do I get to know which is important, which is not important, why it is important, and all stuff like that? So there is one more command which we have explained. Yesterday someone had asked me these questions. So kubectl explain. What do you want to explain? So you want to explain pod. See here, pod have these field API version, kind, metadata, spec, status. So what you want? Spec, pod.spec. So this you keep doing. I mean, all the fields you can have a multiple sub fields. See here, so many fields are there. So this is how you learn actually. Here you see the field name, type of data which you can pass. Some of them are required, some of them are not required. This is object, this is integer, this is a required. Containers is required, so that's the reason I in the pod I put only required field, not additional fields. So like that you can learn. See here. Okay, so it's a pretty huge, that's so many combination you will get it, but that's the power of it. So again, same thing you can do the ns. Okay, and ns.spec, same thing you can do with now someone who has asked this question, what is a finalizers? Please read this. Okay, here you have a complete documentations. Okay, so here now same thing here, explain deploy rc rc.spec. I'm just only using spec because it has a more field, but remaining also will have a fields. Okay, now deployment. So deployment, explain deployment, what you want, dot spec here dot. Now guys, here in this template is required, so like this you have to learn, and under the template also you have a dot spec. This is the way you learn. So guys, are you understanding it, all this stuff? Are you understanding it, guys?
Yeah, Rajesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now guys, what you're going to do is, now I'm going to talk about rollout and rollback. So what is a rollout and rollback? So guys, there's a strategy applied. Let me show you here. Deploy.spec, if I go this strategy, see here, if I go to the dot strategy, there's one strategy which is called rolling update strategy. There's only one strategy is there. Okay, see here, rolling update strategy, type string. What type, what string you can pass? So you can pass this recreate or rolling update. So recreate I'm not talking, I'm talking the rolling update. So if you see here rolling update, let me show you, this is the default actually. So get a deploy -n is equal to Rajesh, and you see here describe deploy and my deploy -n is equal to Rajesh, and you see here in the strategy type rolling update. So what is a rolling update basically? So guys, rolling update is very wonderful feature actually. So through that you can roll out and roll back. How it is, let me show you here. So understand this. Let's assume you have one deployment. Okay, you have one deployment, this is one deployment, and how many pod you have? 1 2 3 4. So this is the 1 2 3 4 pod you have. Now this is a version 1 software, this is the version 1 software. So now you want to version 2, you want to deploy with the version 2. Okay, so version 2. So how can we have the deployment without a single millisecond of downtime? There should not be any downtime for the applications. So this kind of deployments you can do through with static content, basically not a dynamic content like a database and all, but application deployments you can do very well actually. This will work, and you know 95% of the time we do the static deployment, not a dynamic deployment, that we don't change the database and schema too frequently, right? So all these things we do that. So here what we have to do? So through this rolling update strategy, the one which I am talking about, I just showed you here. This is the rolling update strategy type. Whenever you roll out the new changes, okay, I just repeat, whenever you roll out the new changes, the not everything will be disappeared at a time and it will be created at a time. Okay, how this will be creating and deleting? So what they will do, first they will add the new version of one pod, okay, and then they will delete this one. Then after that they will add one more pod, then they will delete this one. Then again it will add the one more pod, then this will delete. So that way, at any given point of the time, you will be having a 4 container to receive a request. Are you understanding this strategy?
That is where you see sometimes the delete
That is,
will be delayed. One of
what is
the
that?
sometimes the delete operation is delayed, right? It doesn't get deleted fast, so it's in the waiting mode till the
No,
new
it's
one.
delayed for you. It's delayed for you, not for server. It takes some time to come get the output. It's delayed for you, not for application. You might have seen that you got little bit output late, but the creation has happened many seconds ago.
So in this case, would the controller allow how many hour we wanted, the desired number plus one at any
Immediately.
point during this rollout?
Okay, how? Okay, the question is, you should be asking, okay, how do I decide whether one container should be created at a time or one container deleted, or let's say 2 containers should be created at a time and 2 deleted? So that is decided by here itself. Here you can decide. See here, rolling as update strategy. So here, as per this rule, which is default rule basically, it says first whenever you do the rollout, then do one thing. First make it 25% of your container, new container created, and then delete 25% only. So this is the 25%, like that. The number of this, it can be number of containers, a number of pods also.
Okay. So we can update. We can have a rolling update strategy where we can decide the maximum surge it can
Yeah,
happen
you
at a
can say let's do the 10% search, 10% deployment. This can be different number also. It can be 5 pods also, 5 pods also. Here you can write a number only. If you just do not write this percentage, it'll become a number.
Okay.
Okay, so now guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the rolling update. So let's get started. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy some commands. So this command will help me to, this all commands you know that by now, except one command, which is undo command. So this will help me to do the faster. So see guys, here what I'm doing, look at this. Let me explain you this. I'm creating a deployment through the command line, which image I'm using v1, and then after that I'm setting the replica scaling up to 10. Okay, after that I'm checking the status. Okay, and then after that I'm setting the version history. After that I'm editing this image and creating the image to v2. This is I'm doing manually. Then again I'm checking the rollout status and checking the history, and here I'm doing the rollback. And after that again you can check it out, the status and all stuff like that. Okay, so now this I am doing in the namespace Rajesh. So let's add this, all the command you have to add Rajesh. Okay, so now I'll do one thing. I'll clean that remaining things here. Okay, so I'm cleaning all this stuff. So kubectl get deploy hyphen n is equal to Rajesh. So here delete all the deployments. Delete deploy hyphen n is equal to Rajesh. Delete it. All the pods has gone. There must be one more pod actually. Let me check. No, this is the one. I should delete also this one. Okay, so I deleted everything, clean all of stuff here. It's taking time. It has been done in the server, but it just takes some time to come out of this, just to check the integrity and all stuff like that. Yeah. So guys, nothing is there. Let's check it out. No pod is there. Now let's create deployment. Let's scale the deployment to 10. Now check the status quickly. See here. Now earlier I had a one deployment, one pod. Now slowly they are replicating it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, one by one, they are replicating. So you can see this using this, you can see the commands, how much successfully rollout has happened. Now check the status and then history, versioning. Only one version right now, only one image. Now I'm going to change the image name. So v1 to v2. v2. Now check the
I
history.
think
See here.
you changed the name, not the image, right?
Yeah, I think there were two versions.
What is that?
I think you changed the name than the image name when you
Oh,
were
is it?
editing it.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So we'll see that. See, rollout has happened. Even though if I change the name, it will happen. Let me do one more time. So here, oh sorry. So no problem. So again, check the rollout status. See, again is some changes is happening. So this is a version 3 I'm modifying. See here. So 25% the rule get applied by default. I did not change the YAML file. It's creating 25 and then deleting. So now it's done. Now can we check the version? See here, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here I change the v1. Here I change the name of the pod. I guess I didn't see that. I think you saw that. So I think that was. And this here I change the name of the image. Version 2. So you want to roll back? Which version you want to roll back? So first let me see which version I am having. So kubectl get pods -n is equal to Rajesh and o wide. What is IP address here? Let's curl http dot. See here, this is the version 2, right? So now I am roll backing to the version 1. This is the command rollout undo. This is the rollout undo. This is the rollback command. Okay, to which version? Deploy version 1. And you see the status 4. Look at this. And now let's look at the pod. Done. Curl http. See version 1. Earlier it was a version 2, right? See here. Now it's a version 1. Rollback done. So guys, this is the way I work with deployment, and so many features you have which you can try and get going. Did you understand, all of you? All of you?
Yep.
Okay.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.